Hello and welcome to the Naxi Mentor. Today we are talking about gross domestic product (GDP). What is GDP? We will be discussing its definition and then various heads that have been described by this definition. In the last, we will be talking about what are different conditions that portray that these things are not part of GDP. So let's start. GDP is measure of all the currently produced final goods and services evaluated at market price. All the currently produced final goods and services evaluated at market price. So the first point is currently produced. Currently produced goods and services, it is actually output per time period. Normally the time period is fiscal year and it varies between different countries. In countries like Pakistan, it is from June, July to next June, July, one fiscal year. As only currently produced goods can be counted in GDP, so exchange of previously produced goods or services like houses, cars, factories, etc. are not part of GDP. We will not be counting them in GDP. Secondly, exchange of stocks and bonds, because it do not involve current production of goods and services, so stocks and bond will not be counted in GDP. The next thing is final goods and services. So final goods and services, no intermediate goods. What are intermediate goods? Goods used to produce other goods. Such goods that are used to produce other goods are intermediate goods, and we will not be counting them in the intermediate stage because it will result in problem of double counting. Why? Because let's take an example of fabric or a cloth that is prepared with cotton or something else. If we take the price of cotton as intermediate goods and finally the price of whole cloth, so price of cotton will be counted doubly and it will create the problem of double counting. So intermediate goods that become part of produced goods and services will not be counted in GDP. Only final goods will be counted. But two types of intermediate goods are included in GDP, and these are currently used capital goods. What are capital goods? Capital resources to produce other goods. For example, machinery and factories. Machineries and factories are used to produce. They do not become part of those goods. They do not contribute towards the composition of the final goods. They only contribute in production of final goods. So these capital goods are included in GDP, although they portray some sort of intermediate goods. And only a portion is used up in production process of these capital goods, and where the part becomes depreciated, it will be subtracted from the final value of GDP. The other thing that is intermediate and counted in GDP is inventory investment. Why we take inventory investment? Because it belongs to currently produced final goods. It become part of output. So inventory investment is taken in measurement of GDP. The next thing according to definition is the last point is market price, evaluated at market price. All these goods and services are evaluated at market price, and for this we have 4 different heads, and all these heads are calculated as a table and then are counted for GDP calculation. These are consumption, investment, government purchases and net exports. What is consumption? Consumption is household sector demand for current output. Whatever is produced in the current year and being demanded by household is consumption. The next thing is investment, and three different subsections are part of investment. These are business fixed investment, whatever the businesses invest in a current year is counted in GDP. Next is residential investment, investment that are used to for the production of houses or family investment or houses, etc. And the third is inventory investment. We have already talked about it. So these are three different investment evaluated at market price. Then government purchases, whatever government purchases during a fiscal year from goods and services of the current stock being produced currently in the current fiscal year will be counted in GDP. The next is net exports, and that is the last head. Net exports, we have subtracted imports and counted exports only. Why imports are subtracted? Because these imports have already been counted here in the consumption part. Now, what is not in GDP, not counted in GDP, non-market products, things that are not getting sold in the market. For example, services of household women's that produce anything or give services to the house. So their services are not calculated in the market, so they will not be included in GDP. And underground economy, black economy, or anything that is not calculated in the market, not evaluated in the market, will not be counted in GDP. The last thing is GDP does not measure, it is not a measure of welfare, and it is not a measure of happiness. We cannot say that if GDP is higher, the country is well off and welfare is very good in that economy or country. No, it doesn't measure welfare. And although some countries have a very good calculation of GDP, very high GDP, but their happiness index is not that much high. Some countries have low GDP, but their happiness is very high. So we need to work on this thing. That's all about what are different heads of gross domestic product, such that it is something that portrays what a country is producing and total production of a country. And next we will be talking about GNP, national income, and other topics. So keep watching. Thank you so much.